Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another NFL tier list video. And in today's video, we're ranking tight ends. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, starting off, we have Trey McBride. He had a pretty good start of the season. He was really the only Cardinals player that was even catching passes. For that, I think he's an A tier. Now, Kyle Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts is a really good tight end, but he hasn't had any good quarterbacks. But he's had some pretty decent numbers. He hasn't had like Travis Kelce or George Kittle numbers yet, but he has some pretty good numbers. I would say he's gonna be a B tier. But I think when the season goes on, he'll either go up to A or he'll go to S tier because he finally has a quarterback. Now, I don't know who this next tight end is. I think he's one of the Panthers' new rookie tight ends, but I don't know for sure. So I'm going to put him here. Cole Kmet. I think Cole Kmet is a pretty strong B-tier tight end. He really hasn't had the greatest quarterbacks. I think Caleb Williams might work well with him. I think the new Bears offense will complement Cole Kmet pretty well. Okay, now on to Jake Ferguson. And I think Jake Ferguson is a B-tier tight end. His first season, honestly, he was pretty bad. But this last season, he did pretty good. And to be honest, in that one bad playoff game, he was the only good Cowboys player. I think he'll be about the same he was last year. This year. So I think he'll be pretty good. Sam Laporta, I'm going to put him at the top of A. He would be S tier, but we got to give him a few more years. I don't really feel confident in putting rookies in S tier. But if Sam Laporta has another season like his rookie season, he'll already be in S tier. Luke Musgrave, I would say he's a really strong C tier tight end. Luke Musgrave didn't have the best season last year. Honestly, I think we should put Trey McBride in B. Because he didn't have near the season Sam Laporta did. Tyler Higbee, I think he's the very top of B. He's a really strong tight end, and he's really consistent. T-Hawk, definitely an A tier. These last few seasons, TJ Hawkinson has really proved himself to be a really good tight end. And this year, we're going to have to wait and see, because he now has JJ McCarthy instead of Kirk Cousins. Taysom Hill. I would say he's in B because he's not just a tight end. He does a lot of other things too. He could technically play running back position, quarterback, tight end. He can do everything. Taysom Hill is just an all-around athletic football player. Taysom Hill is basically inventing his own position. Now, Darren Waller. Honestly, I gotta say, we gotta put him in C. Darren Waller hasn't been good for quite a while. And now, he retired. And he had all that crazy stuff going on. Now, Dallas Goedert is a strong A-tier tight end. He's very consistent. Yeah, he's just a good all-around tight end. Most of these dudes are really good all-around tight ends. They're good at blocking. And they're good at catching. Now, George Kittle, yeah, you already know. He's an S tier. You can't go wrong with a tight end that can block and catch passes. Now, next up on the tier list is Noah Fant. I think Noah Fant is a pretty solid B tier tight end, so we'll put him there. Cade Otton, same thing. I think he's a very reliable tight end, but I'm going to put him at the very bottom of B. Even though I really like Cade Otton, we really just haven't seen enough of him. Logan Thomas, let's probably put him at the bottom of B as well. The last couple seasons, he's done pretty well, but he's mostly good at blocking. Mark Andrews, he has to be S as well. It's like he's a tight end that, like, if he's out, it will hurt your team for, like, the rest of the season. Okay, Dalton Kincaid. To be just a little fair, let's put him in B. Because he did do really well last season. And I do think he's now Josh Allen's top weapon for the Bills. He just didn't have as good of a season as Sam Laporta. Dalton Kincaid, I think he needs at least one more season and he'll do really well. I think this season is his breakout season. I don't really know who this is. David Njoku. Oh man, he's an A tier. Dude, I don't even want to imagine how much better Njoku's numbers would be if he actually had a good quarterback. He's been one of the most consistent tight ends since he's been in the league. God, don't know who this is. Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz should be at the top of B. The last couple seasons for the Texans, he has done amazing for them. And I had him last year for fantasy most of the season, and he saved me a few times. Mo Alie-Cox, I think he's a C tier. Because he isn't the best receiving tight end, but I do think he is pretty good at blocking. Okay, now on to Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram, I think, is a strong A tier. These last two seasons, he's done phenomenal. He went from being a B/C like tight end to an A. Like, the second he actually had a quarterback that was good, Evan Ingram started having some amazing production. Okay, so next up on the list is Travis Kelce. You knew he was going to be an S tier. That's how it goes. He's one of the best receiving tight ends ever. You gotta admit that. His blocking ability, I will say, is not as good as George Kittle or Mark Andrews. Travis Kelce is mostly a receiving tight end. Doesn't have the best blocking numbers. I've looked at them. They're not the greatest. His blocking ability would probably be ranked at a B or C. I think this is Michael Mayer from the Raiders. And I would say he had a pretty decent season, but we're still going to put him towards the end of B. Jared Everett. He's pretty much in the middle. Honestly, let's put Kyle Pitts a little bit higher. Because as much as people are like saying he's like a bust or not as good as he was expected to be, he still put up some pretty good numbers despite having bad quarterbacks. I don't really know who this is, so we're going to put him here. Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry will probably have to be in the middle of B because he does have some pretty good numbers for a tight end. And I was looking at his yardage, and every catch, he made at least 13 yards. He just had barely any receptions. He had less than 50 in almost all his seasons. Okay, Tyler Conklin. He's just a pretty decent tight end. Not really anything to say other than that. Pat Freiermuth. Yeah, I would have to say he's in B, because he's pretty reliable too. Not really much I could say about him. Now, the rest of the tight ends, I just put in B and C tier, because they really aren't that amazing of players. They're a tight end. There's honestly not much to say about ones that are just decent. But anyways, I think this has been a pretty good tier list video. Obviously, there are a ton of tight ends in B, but that's the skill level of most tight ends in the NFL. You very rarely get an S tier tight end. There's only been a few others in history. Tony Gonzalez, Kellen Winslow, Jason Witten, Rob Gronkowski, Shannon Sharp, Mike Ditka. Yeah, it's just very rare when you get a really good tight end. Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and the next time we do a tier list video, it'll be running backs. So be on the lookout for that. But anyways, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.